I'll be showing 25 Microsoft Forms tips and tricks. This is little gems you didn't know about, as well as new features and also how Forms integrates into the rest of the Office suite. So let's get started. I'm here on the office.com homepage, and first off, let's go into Forms. So in the lower left right here, we'll click Forms. This is the Forms homepage. Now the first tip is to explore this updated and redesigned homepage. You can see all my forms are right here. Now you see new quiz here. I'm signed in as an educator, so that's the default, but for anyone else signed in as a non-educator, you'll see new form here. What's been done is there's recent. These are my recently used forms. There's pinned. And here's a couple of forms that I've pinned and then shared with me if people have shared forms. And also down below, you can see my groups. So if I want to go and show more groups, here's all the different groups I have. I can drill in here and create a form for that group. Then I can go all my forms. So if I want to see all the forms that I have, you can see right here, they're all laid out. And I can go to deleted forms. So here's the forms that I've deleted. The second tip is there's a new little drop down here that lets you look at a list view or tiles. So if I want to see all my forms, you might have a really long list of forms. You want to see them in list order versus the tile order. It's really easy to switch like that. The third tip is the Likert question. So let's go to the drop down here and we're going to create a new form. We'll give it a quick title. Maybe I've given a training session and I want to gather some feedback. So I will click Add New to make a new question. And over here on the right hand side, I drop this down and there is the Likert. Likert is a fancy word for a table. Rows and columns, you can see a little image there. So let's choose Likert and let's give it a quick question. How would you rate Mike's training today? So you have statements for the rows and options for the columns. So I'm going to quickly fill in the statements. So there are the 3 statements, and across the top for options, I can fill in a few choices. So there are some 5 options that I can choose through the little option buttons. If I want to add a 6th option, I could do that. Option 6, we'll just delete it. And I can also add a statement right here. So that's just that easy to fill in a Likert question. If I want to see what that looks like, I go here and click Preview. And there it is. I go through and I could choose these different options. The fourth tip is the NPS or Net Promoter Score feature in Forms. So I'll click Add New, and over on the right hand side, I'll drop this down and choose Net Promoter Score. This is great to gather data on how likely you are to recommend something or not to a friend or colleague. So I have 0 through 10, not at all likely to extremely likely, and you can edit this. So how likely are you to recommend Mike to a friend or colleague? And again, what it looks like here, it's this nice little 0 through 10. I can choose one of these. Actually, for me, I'm going to recommend myself. I'm going to give myself a 10. The fifth tip are sections in forms. These are relatively new. So if I want to have a chunk of my form that I have people fill out until they go to another chunk, which is called a section, I click Add New, and I drop this down, and I can choose Section. You see here down at the bottom. I choose Section, and it's going to make a whole nother section area. So I can give that a label. Future trainings with Mike. I could even give this a little image, so I'll insert an image here. And there he is. I can give a description, and then I can add more questions. So I can add a question here and add other questions. I'll just do that really quick. And I have a couple of more questions in this section. So now when I preview this, here's the first one about Mike's training session, and right here is next. So this can go to the next chunk of my form. I hit next. Hey, there's more options I have, future trainings. So it's really easy to add other section chunks. If I want to remove those sections, I can go back and change and remove them. I click the ... I can remove this. I can just a section or questions. I can actually move a section, or I can duplicate it. Maybe I want to duplicate this section right here and have a third one. I can easily do that. The 6th tip are improved themes. So if I go to theme right here, you're going to see theme ideas, and there's a lot of different ideas that are generated. And hey, this looks like a fun one. These are all the people who want to come to my training session. So if I scroll down, you'll see some ideas that were generated by forms. I can always choose the default themes that are here. I could also add and customize my own themes, but theme ideas are something that are surfaced by forms automatically. And I'll click Hide. The 7th tip is branching. Branching allows you to have people go to different parts of a form based on what they're responding to in that question. There's all sorts of ways you can branch people off. I'll show a very simple one here. So in this case, which day of the week did you want? I want to branch people off based on what they choose. So I click on the question, And I scroll down and I click the dot, 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 and I will choose Add Branching. What you see is every single choice now has a go to, and I can choose. So in this case, on Sundays and Saturdays, if they choose that, I'm just going to have them go to the end of the form because I don't work on the weekend. So I choose End of Form. But from Monday through Friday, you can see Go to Next, or Go to Specific Questions, or even go to different sections. So in my case, I'll just leave it as Go to Next, and the next question is what time of day did you want? And these are my weekday times. But as you can see, you have lots of choices to let people go back and forth. So now I'm going to click here, click on Back to see. And when I add a branching statement, it adds this little branching icon so I know that this has branching statements. If I go here to preview, we'll see what that looks like. So I'm going to scroll down, go to next, to the next section, enter your name, what day of the week did you want? If I click on Sunday or Saturday, you notice nothing happens and I'll just submit the form. But if I click Monday, you'll see, oh, what time of day did you want? And that will show 8 a.m. And what did I want for lunch? I'll have a ham sandwich, and I can click Submit. The 8th tip is the ability to upload a file when you're adding a question. So I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of my form, and I will click Add New. And right here, if I click the drop down, you're going to see File Upload. And I will choose that. So in this case, it says a new folder will be created in SharePoint, and anyone who uploads a file will be captured in that folder. And I'll click OK. I can specify what type of file and how big. So the question here is, add a Word doc or a PDF about your hopes and dreams of this future session. And so what I'm going to have here is how many files. We're just going to say one file. And how big is it going to be? 10 megabytes? That seems plenty, but you can have them be 100 megabytes or even a gigabyte. Now, if you go to the dot, dot, dot menu, you can even specify what types of files. So I'll say file type. You know, I only want a Word document or a PDF, and it will make sure that no one can upload Excels or videos or audio or anything else. It will only allow you to do these. Now to show what that looks like, I'll go again to preview, and we'll scroll down, and I'm going to choose Friday. And here it says, add a Word doc or a PDF about my hopes and dreams. So I click Upload File. And there are some files here. I will upload a Word document right here. And it's added that Word document. And if I had something else, it would not let me upload an Excel file, for example. The 9th tip is the Immersive Reader. The Immersive Reader is inclusively designed to help all people of all abilities to access content and read more effectively. So if I hover here, you're going to see this little Immersive Reader icon. I can also go here. You can see the Immersive Reader. Anywhere there's text, this Immersive Reader shows up. Now, if you are in commercial forms, it won't show up by default. In education, it hovers by default, but clicking the dot, 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 you can disable it everywhere, or if you're in education or commercial, you can enable it. So depending on how you sign in, that will show up or not by default. When I click the button, you can see what we do is we abstract all the user interface, and I can do things like read aloud.
Mike's training session. This is an evaluation form of the training.
And I can choose the voice speed, faster or slower. I can change the background text. If I want to increase spacing, some people have visual crowding issues. I can change the background color. Some people cannot read very easily with just a white or black background. So I have lots of different options there. I can go to reading preferences and choose line focus to help focus my eye just on that single line at a time. And I can choose 3 lines or 5 lines. And lastly, I can translate in many different languages. So in this case, maybe I want to translate over here into Spanish, and I'll translate the entire document. And we'll turn off line focus, and then we'll read aloud with the Spanish document.
Sesión de entrenamiento de Mike. Esta es una forma de evaluación.
If I want to go back to the original language, English in this case, I can flip back and forth. So there's many options for the Immersive Reader, and that is built right into Forms. The 10th tip is using the math keyboard in Forms. Now this is only available for quizzes, so if you're an educator, you can create a math quiz. So I'm going to click New Quiz right here. We'll give it a title, and I'll click Add New. We're just going to make it a text question, and we're going to have this be an equation. Please solve this equation. Now go to the dot, dot, dot menu, and you're going to see something that says Math. This will let you have the math keyboard. So you can see right here, I can switch to text, but we'll leave it as math for now. And I can enter an equation. 5x plus 3y equals 7. That's one example. I could also do something like square root. So maybe I do the square root of 5x plus 3y equals 7. I'm going to keep this one pretty simple. We'll just make it the square root of 25 and click OK. And then I can enter what the answer is. So I'll add an answer here. The answer is 5, but I could, again, use this math keyboard if it's a more complex answer. If I want to switch to a text keyboard, I just click this, and I could type out 5. But in this case, we're going to make it 5, hit OK, and we're ready to go. Just to preview what that looks like as a student, I click Preview. It says, please solve this equation. And when the student enters here, the math keyboard will come up. So it's really handy. You can make all sorts of complex math equations in your forms quiz. The 11th tip is the ability to print a form. So let's open up my training session here. If I go to the ... menu, there's just a print form. Pretty simple, but this has been a very popular request that's recently rolled out. So if I click on print form, I get the entire thing rendered. I can print this out on paper really easily. Related is the ability to print a summary of responses. Not many people know about this. So if I open up this training session and I go to responses, there was only one response, but I can print the summary. So if I click this ... I choose print summary, and you'll see there is a summary of all the responses. Now I've only got one response, but if you want to print out an entire summary sheet, it's really easy, as you just saw. The 12th tip is the ability to shuffle questions in a quiz or a form. So I've got a quiz here that I've already created. I'm going to open it. Shuffling means that people get different questions in different orders. So if you're taking a test or a quiz, you can be assured that students won't get the same questions in the same order. So if I go to the ... menu here, I choose Settings. If you scroll down, you're going to see this option for responses, Shuffle Questions. So this means it'll be randomized. Now you can choose to shuffle all the questions, or maybe you just want the first 2 questions to be locked down and the other ones to be shuffled. So you have the ability to shuffle everything or just shuffle maybe questions 10 through 15. You can choose what you want right there. The 13th tip is the ability to set start date and time and end date and time. I'm going to go in here to my form and I'm going to open up the ... menu and again choose Settings. If you scroll down on options for responses, there's start date and end date. So for my training session form, if I click start date, I only want them to be able to fill out this form starting at 2:30, and we'll make the end date in the new year, and maybe we'll make this on January 4th at midnight. So there we go, 11:45, close enough. Now that means that they can only respond within these times or dates, and you can customize these however you need to. The 14th tip is the ability to get a link to the summary of all the responses and results that have been filled out. Again, this is not a well-known feature. I'll open up my training session here, and if you go to the responses page for anyone who's filled out your form, there's this ... menu for more options. If I click this, I can create a summary link. So if I want to send this link to someone else to show them all the results, I click that and I get a copy. And I will paste this somewhere. I'll just show you what it looks like if someone else opens up that summary link. So I've pasted the link up here and you can see it pulls up the summary of all the results. So if you want to share the results of your form or survey with someone, it's really easy to send a link like that. The 15th tip is a customized message at the end of your form when you fill it out. So for my form here, if I go to the ... menu and I go to Settings, down here at the bottom I can customize a thank you message. So when they fill out my training session form, I can give them a nice little thank you. There, I filled out a nice little message and I'm ready to go. The 16th tip is the ability to duplicate a form or a quiz you've made. This is really, really helpful. So there's this nice big share button here, and when I click that, I have some options. First off, I can go and share this as a template. What that means is maybe you've created this really cool form or really cool quiz and you wanted to give it to someone else so they can copy into their own forms library. So if I click Get a Link to Duplicate, has a little link here, and if I click Copy, now I can paste it and send it to someone. So I'm going to show how to do that next. I'm here in Outlook now. I'm going to open up a message and I'm going to send it to my friend Alex. And here's the link to my form. Paste that link and hit send. Now I'm signed in as Alex. Here's that link that Kara Coleman just sent me. Duplicate Mike's training session. Okay, let's open this up. And at the top it says duplicate this form and start to use it as your own. So I'm going to click duplicate. And there it is. It makes it now, it adds copy here. So it has that little copy. I could get rid of that if I want as Alex. If I go to my own forms here as Alex, you're going to see now Alex has a copy of Mike's training session in his own forms library. The 17th tip is sharing and collaborating on a form. So if I go to the share button on any form or quiz, I click share. And if I go down here, share to collaborate, get a link to view and edit. So I'm going to share this with Alex and we're going to collaborate on this now. So you can choose, do I want to share it with an Office 365 account, people in my organization only, or just specific people. So I'm going to say anyone with an Office 365 account can use this, and I'll click copy. Now it's ready for me to paste, so we'll go back and send that in email again. So I'm going to open up an email message again, and we'll send it to Alex. And I'm going to paste the link. Let's collaborate, and we'll send that off. Now we'll sign in as Alex. Okay, Alex got my mail. Let's collaborate. Let's open this up as Alex. Now we're co-authoring. So here's the form. You can see that Kara Coleman is also editing. So I can go in and edit this however I want. So if I go down here, maybe I want to add a new question because Alex has some ideas about my training sessions. Great. We can do whatever we want. And we are co-authoring at that point. The 19th feature is the ability to create multi-language forms. So I'm going to open up this form. And maybe I want to have this form sent out where there's some people who speak different languages who will be filling out my training form. So if I choose the ... menu and go to multilingual, I can add some more languages. So default for me, it's English. I can add another language. So in this case, let's add Spanish. You could add many languages, Spanish, French, German, Arabic, but I'm just going to have Spanish. Now click the little pencil icon to edit the language. And when you click this, it brings up your form and I can put in the translations from Spanish right into here. So I'll do that really quickly. There we go. I have my Spanish translations in, and you can see down here, I can add whatever I need to. So when I go back now, I can send this form out and the people who receive the form will be able to choose the language. I'll show what that looks like really quick. So here's the preview. Now in the upper right, you can see there's multiple languages. English here, but I can drop this down and maybe I'm going to choose Spanish. So you can see the part that I put in is now translated into those new languages that I added myself. The next 6 tips show how Forms integrates with other Office apps. For tip number 20, I'm going to switch to Outlook Desktop and show the Quick Pull integration. I'm here in Outlook and I've opened up an email message. This is Outlook that's connected to Office 365. If you go to the Insert menu, you're going to see this option Pull. It's pretty new. Create an instant real-time pull. Let's click this. On the right, it opens up what's kind of forms-based technology. So I can input my question. Where did you want to go for lunch? 2 options, pizza place or hamburger heaven. I could add more options. I'm not gonna. I could delete choices. It's all based on forms, add multiple answers, but I'll just choose insert poll into email. And you can see it adds that where did you want to go for lunch, view or vote in the browser, even gives the subject. I'm gonna send this off to Kara. I'm signed into Kara now and I just got a mail from Mike, poll, where did you want to go for lunch? So I can click view and vote in the browser. Let's open this up. And look at that, it's a nice little form that's generated from that poll. So I'm going to choose the pizza place, I'll click vote, and I get to see the results of that poll. So really nice integration of forms with Outlook. The 21st tip is the Excel web integration with forms. So I'm going to switch to Excel here and create a new blank workbook. I'll go to the Insert menu, and a lot of people haven't seen this, but there's forms, and I drop this down, I can create a new form, and we'll show preview, edit, and a few of the other ones. So create new form. It launches me right back into Forms, and I'm going to very quickly fill out a form here, speed through it. Now I filled out a quick form here. It's a survey, name, favorite color, and rate your experience. If you go back to the Excel web file that got created, automatically it created this sheet called Form 1 down here. And you can see it actually has the results in columns across all of the questions from my form. So that automatically does that. So if I go and fill out this form here, I'll do a preview. Hit submit, I submitted a response. If I go back to the form and I hit refresh, it has all those responses automatically added right there in the spreadsheet. So really handy, it updates it in real time as people are filling it out. Now if I go back to here, I can go insert and then forms. I can preview the form from here. I can edit the form right here. If I click edit, it launches it into edit mode. And I can also go back here and say send the form if I want to send it to someone. It has the link right here ready to go. So I can say copy this, I can mail it out, all those things. Currently, this will only exist in Excel Web. We hope to bring it to other versions of Excel in the future. The 22nd tip is Teams integration. So let's go into Teams. I'm signed in as a Teams user, and this is Kara who's been creating all the forms. First off, it automatically integrates into conversations down here in messages. So if I open up the little ... I can choose forms. It's going to give me the option right here to easily add questions and integrate those. So I'll fill this out really quick. Simple form here, I click save. There's a few options, share results or keep responses anonymous. And I can send this out and it gets posted right into the channel here. And people can easily fill it out, so I can submit my vote and it automatically updates that form. So you can post this right into Teams into a channel. And if you go back into your forms as Kara, the person who created this, you'll have that as well. So sign back into forms, you can see there's the survey that I just created right inside of Teams. I can open that up. The 23rd tip is OneNote integration with forms. So I'm going to switch to OneNote. I'm here in OneNote for Windows 10, and this also works in OneNote for the web and the other OneNote clients, but I'm going to click the Insert menu here, and way over on the right, you're going to see a Forms button. I'll click this and it's going to pull down all the forms I've created, including the ones we've been doing today. The most recent ones, the polls, Mike's training session, some of the philosophy quizzes I've done earlier. Now I'm just going to do the where should we eat for lunch because I just created that. And you can see there's an insert, there's an edit. I can also create a new form or a new quiz, but we'll just say insert right here. And it inserts a link and it automatically embeds that interactively right here into OneNote. I can even do things like enable the immersive reader like we showed before. Now that immersive reader is right there, I can click that and launch it. Pretty powerful. We're not going to go into the immersive reader right now, but you get a sense. I can easily embed these forms interactively right here into OneNote. Also, any form that I have, I can paste a link to as well. So if I've deleted this one here, maybe I just have a form link that I got from someone, and I'm just going to paste it. Here's a link I have. I'm just pasting it into OneNote. Hey, and here's the whole quiz. I've just rendered that entire quiz right here in OneNote by pasting a link to forms. It puts a link here. I can click that link and get back to that form if I need to. The 24th tip is forms integration with PowerPoint, and this is PowerPoint Desktop with Office 365. If I go to the Insert menu, similar to with OneNote, there's a Forms button. If I click Forms, it renders my forms right here. And again, just like with OneNote, I can say New Form or New Quiz. I'm going to select an existing form, the old Where Should We Eat for Lunch. If I click Insert, it inserts that form right onto the slide. Well, what does that mean? If I give this slideshow out to people or students, when they run the slideshow, they will get to respond to the form. So down here, I'm going to click the Start the Slideshow button. And here's that form right here. Where should we eat for lunch? Pizza place, and hit Submit. And I've just submitted. Super easy, and that's integrated right into PowerPoint. The 25th and final tip is integration with Microsoft Stream. Stream is our video solution, and you can interactively embed quizzes and forms right into your video. So we'll launch Stream here under All Apps. Choose Stream. I'm here in Stream. Now maybe I've already got a video that I've created. I'm going to go to My Content and go to Videos. Here's my space station video. Now I'm going to go right here and click on Interactivity and click Add Form. Now it says paste your form URL, and I'm going to paste this here. It's actually a philosophy form, but hey, give it a name. We'll call it the philosophy form. And I'm going to say add to timeline. Now I want to maybe add this at the 5-second mark. So here, and we're going to say add to timeline. What this is going to do is it's going to stop, and I'll show what this looks like, and that philosophy form will get popped up right at that point. And I could change that if I want, but we'll just leave it like this. So now we're going to go and watch the video. International Space Station. Here we go.
Lauren, there are so many
the
skills that we
point.
develop as educators.
Hey, it stopped the video and gives me a little philosophy quiz. So I fill out the form here, and I do my thing, Bill and Ted, and click Submit. I've submitted my response, and now I can continue along with the video.
And there's so many, I would say.
So a great way to check for understanding as the video is going along, especially as an educator, you can insert these forms at different parts in the video, and you can actually add multiple forms at multiple points. Just by going into this interactivity, you can add another form if you want. You can insert it in a different part of the timeline. If you found this video useful, give it a like. Now, if you want to keep up with all the latest quick tip videos that I'll keep releasing, subscribe to my channel and then just ring the bell so you get notified for all the new videos that post.